Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we're going to be talking about why the Su-33 should be added to the game and how it will fit in the current meta. I believe it could fit into the current meta pretty well. Now make sure to subscribe to the channel because we are doing a 10,000 Golden Eagle giveaway, and that is the main way to enter, of course, and join the Discord down below. Also, tell me in the comments if you think the Su-33 should be added to the game and what other aircraft you guys would like to see in the future added to the game. Personally, I would like to see the F-111 Aardvark added to the game. I feel like it's long overdue. But yeah, tell me what you guys think. Now, in terms of the Su-33, this bad boy, it sure knows how to fly. It doesn't have thrust vectoring, but it does have super maneuverability. It has the front canards, and it's got a great camo. Also, the wings fold. Gaijin, please add wings that are able to fold. Why? Because it looks cool, and we could use it in cinematics. Now, the reason I believe this aircraft can be added to the game is mostly because its armaments. It doesn't carry a lot of crazy weapons. So, for example, this basically carries the same stuff the MiG-29 carries and basically has a similar radar to the MiG-29 that we have in game. So, it's not entirely super crazy. This thing's an ASA radar, tracks, Chinese spy balloons 50 nautical miles on the moon. This thing is a pretty okay radar. Now let's briefly go over this aircraft stats. The Su-33 is a highly capable fighter jet, and it is a carrier-based fighter jet, of course. It could go up to Mach 2.2, has very powerful engines, and a good climb rate. So this thing could perform pretty well at high altitudes, and it's definitely going to be a BVR monster. Now, it also has pretty advanced avionics in it compared to some of the other jets we have in the game. I believe this does get a situational awareness page, so technically, the way this works is basically it's like a sort of mini-map where you use data link, you connect AWACS and fighters, radars all together to sort of get a picture of the battlefield, and the Su-33 is able to use that. So it'd be really cool to see Gaijin add situational awareness pages to future jets, and this could be the introduction of that. Now, in terms of weapons and fuel load, this carries 20,000 pounds of fuel, which is a little over the internal fuel load of the F-14 Tomcat. So this will carry more fuel than the F-14 we have in game. Carries the R-27s, the ET, the ER, the E, the R, and it also carries the R-73s, and I feel like this would be a great introduction to the R-73 being added to the game. Why have a flanker without R-73s, am I right? Super maneuverability coupled with HMS, that's just a little much. So I think this might be the first aircraft we see the R-73s officially be added to. So we'll see what Gaijin does. Another thing is this will definitely be the catalyst to more modern aircraft like the F-15 or the Gripen. I kind of have a feeling that we're going to have the Gripen in the game before we get the Su-33, but tell me what you guys think in the comments down below. I'm kind of curious. But yeah, no, I feel like this would be a fine addition to the game. I think it wouldn't be too overpowered. Like, I feel like we would be able to kill this thing. I mean, we have the Mirage 2000 in the game, right? We have the F-16. We have the F-14 Tomcat. Those are formidable opponents. Hey, maybe even add the F-14B or the F-14D to counter this bird. I feel like that would be a great way to counter this. But other than that, let's check out the flight performance on DCS. So we're here in DCS, and we got the Su-33. We are trying out the split throttle. Kind of fun in this. Little side note, Gaijin, please fix the split throttle in War Thunder. You're not able to use a throttle stick with the split throttle because you have to select a bind and switch it. Anyway, it's a whole mess. But DCS does a good job with it. All you do is you just push the throttle and it moves in the game. Now, this jet does have HMS, as I've stated before. It's pretty darn gnarly, and it's got a 30mm. Pretty much the same armaments as the MiG-29, but on a way better frame. You can see here, you can pull Cobras with no problem. Those canards just get the nose up whenever you need it. So you could see that we burned all the way down to 140 knots as soon as we pulled. And then we pull again, and we bleed all that speed. And you can see that on the bottom left are knots. It just takes a little bit to go back up. So even though this does have super maneuverability, think about this. You're in a furball, right? And some dude's on your 6, it's an F-16, and he's trying to kill you. He's like foxing, you're flaring and everything. And you pull a Cobra, he overshoots, and you've bled all your speed.
He goes vertical. You can't go in the vertical because you're slow. So it's still balanced in my opinion. And with the current meta, you know, it's like as soon as you spend too long in a dogfight, someone else is going to kill you. I believe this jet is going to excel at range, using its R27s, whether they give it the ERs, or the ETs, or just the Rs. Using range added to its advantage is probably going to be its best go-to weapon. Because dogfights are great, but in RB, it's really not. It's starting to become almost impossible to get a prolonged dogfight without getting shot down by someone else. Kind of unfortunate, but I mean that's just how it is. Now in Sim, oh man, in Sim this thing's going to be a problem because you do get in dogfights where you run into someone who is nowhere near his teammates and you're nowhere near your teammate, and it's just you and him. And if you play your cards right, the Su-33 should be able to do a number on a lot of aircraft in the game. But that's still not to mention, like, there is jets that can counter this, like the Mirage 2000 or the F-16. I feel like if we added this into the game right now with a limited payload, it would be balanced. Of course, sure, it has super maneuverability, but again, once you bleed all your speed, it's really hard to gain it back without the guy getting on your 6 and killing you. But as I was saying, in the sim game mode, using this at range, getting into dogfights with people who don't know how to counter thrust vectoring, or not thrust vectoring, but super maneuverability, will be very problematic for opponents you're facing. So I feel like this is going to excel really well in sim. In RB, it'll probably kill a lot of aircraft, but it'll definitely be countered. I don't think this is going to be the end-all, be-all sort of jet, right? I feel like a jet like an F-15 or even the later flanker models like the Su-35 where they have Fox 3s, those type of jets are going to cause problems because they have the missiles, they have the technology for it. The Su-33 is basically, don't kill me for this, but it's basically a reskinned MiG-29 with more maneuverability, essentially. It has almost the same technology. Of course, it has a way better flight model, but in terms of weapons, it's pretty much the same. So I feel like adding this to the game would be awesome. And R-73s, who doesn't like those? And Gaijin said, you know, they're reworking the R-73 because when they added it, it wasn't quite modeled correctly. If they model them correctly on an Su-33, oh man, HMS coupled with those, that's where the problem's going to be. That's where the issue is. So that's why I'm saying, like, limit the load. If you give R-73s to this thing, it pulls thrust vectoring while using HMS, oh yeah, you're going to die. It's going to shoot you down. But yeah, no, if Gaijin limits the payload to R-73s, maybe 4 to see how it goes, I think it'll be awesome. And again, the R-73, when it was added to the game, it was pretty easy to flare. And DCS are pretty easy to flare if you're pre-flaring. And if you turn off your engine and flare and maneuver, they'll usually bank off your aircraft. So yeah, tell me what you guys think. Do you think the Su-33 should be added to the game? I do. I think they can add it to the game right now with a few tweaks. And just to the armaments. They can have the same flight model, just tweak the missiles, like maybe put, I don't know, you can only bring 4 radar missiles and 2 R-73s or something like that. But yeah, tell me what you guys think. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and take care.